Greetings, everyone. Thanks for your interest in this poster. If you are a graduating senior, I want to congratulate you for making it through a very challenging semester. If you're a faculty member, I also want to congratulate you for making it through the semester. I'm sure there were lots of transitions. I know it was challenging for everyone. But anyway, let's move on. So, in the philosophical literature, has been some recent discussion about Martha Nussbaum's notion of central human capabilities. And these are capabilities for humans, like to have food and shelter, to be able to move freely, to be free from search and seizure, to enjoy life to a normal, life's end. These are the kind of capabilities that she was talking about. Anyway, there's been some discussion about whether or not these 10 capabilities are equipotent or whether there's some kind of a hierarchical relationship between the capabilities. Excuse me. And so my colleague, Chris Riddle, has been involved with this in philosophy, and we talked, and we thought instead of just making arguments for or against the equipotency or hierarchical nature, that we would do a survey of students and a survey of college staff, so hopefully representing younger adults and older adults, and ask people to rank order these 10 central human capabilities. Now, in order to do this, and you can read a little bit more in the poster if you'd like, these 10 capabilities that Nussbaum refers to, there are a few of them that are actually kind of a conglomerate of capabilities. And so the first step for us was to unpack those so that we could ask the question, so we could make separate items for each of the capabilities. And so it turns out that there are about 20 capabilities, okay? Now, what we wanted to do last year is to ask people to rank order those capabilities. And so you'll see the instrument that we used. We have the 20 capabilities listed. And then we made, and I mentioned this because we got a lot of good response, we made little laminated 1 through 10 pieces of paper that people could move around, because when you do this task, people reported that it was very difficult to sort of pick the top 10, okay? And so we wanted to use these little laminated markers until people chose their top 10, and then they would just fill in the numbers, okay? And what we found was pretty interesting results, I think, because the capabilities were not just sort of random. You'd expect if there's no hierarchy, there would be just sort of a random selection of ordinal rankings for each of these capabilities. But that's not what we found, and we found some consistency. The top 3 for both students and staff members, so the average age was significantly different for the two groups. So I think we can reasonably say older and younger. Good health was number 1, okay, for both groups. Food and shelter was number 2 for both groups. And attachment to people and things was ranked number 3 for both groups. Number 4 was non-discrimination. And after that, after those first 4, that's when we started to see a little bit of differentiation of what people thought was important. For students, the 5th one, and it was rated significantly more important than for staff, is to use imagination, or to use senses to imagine and to think about things. And you can see the actual item from the survey instrument. So that was significantly different than the use of senses to imagine and think for staff members. Okay, so I'll let you look at the rankings, but our basic conclusion is that, at least in terms of what people think are important, there is a hierarchy of these human capabilities. And what Riddle has suggested is that if some of these capabilities aren't met, it ends up resulting in sort of a corrosive effect on some of the other capabilities. Okay, so that's sort of the findings in a nutshell. I appreciate your interest. This past fall and spring, what we did was a similar study, but instead of rank order, we had people do Likert scale ratings of each of the 20. So now you don't have to pick your top 10. And we asked people how important were each of these capabilities. And so we're still analyzing those data, but there's some suggestion that the Likert scale ratings sort of map onto the ordinal. But the reason we did the ordinal first is because the Likert scale, I mean, if you let subjects, if you let respondents indicate how important it is, they all are pretty important. That is, they're all very high. So for this study that you're looking at now, we wanted to sort of force people to rank those. And in the subsequent study, we also were interested in asking people about psychological well-being and meaning in life and how happy they were. And we're looking at the correlations between those measures and the different capabilities. So it's kind of interesting stuff. So shoot me an email if you would like more information. I appreciate your interest, and we'll see you next year in person at EPA. Thank you.